Hey everyone, thanks for joining tonight's post-game press conference. We're going to begin with an opening statement from Coach Carnell, followed by questions. So Coach, you have the floor.
Yeah, thanks, John. Good evening, everyone. Listen, I thought obviously a 3-0 scoreline is never easy to accept, and thought for largely a very flattering result. We took a lot in the week. We absorbed a lot of information. We know there's a big threat coming to Lumen Field and to face Seattle. And I thought, 65 minutes long was an excellent performance from us. And we get derailed, unhinged, from a world-class goal with Atencio. So, we try and make a play. We try and make a push. And for the last 20, 25 minutes, went away a little bit from our principles, of which, we have to find ways to stay in the game. We have to find ways to fight through and suffer together, and find solutions. So from that point of view, congrats to Brian. We know that's a powerhouse coming here to Seattle, but we don't take this loss lightly. There's a lot of good things to look at and a lot of poor things to look at. Excited to see now our response. Excited to see how the boys take information. Excited how we stay together as a group, and get through this. So, it's unfortunate, and we move on, and tomorrow's a new day.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go over to questions. First, we'll go to Santi, then we'll go over to Tom.
He's on mute.
Santi, you're on mute.
Sorry. Bradley, can you talk about the initial formation with 3 center backs?
Can I talk it? What do you mean? It's 3 center backs.
Yeah, can you talk about the initial formation with 3 center backs that the team has started with today?
Yeah, obviously looking at a lot of video and looking at a lot of opponents, who's played who, and looking at the form of our backline. It made a lot of sense for many, many reasons. And I think you could see in the first half what those reasons were and why we chose to do what we did. So, another mature performance from us in terms of taking on and absorbing new information and being really difficult in that first half to play against. We hit the upright, with Klaus, and Klaus has another header. And those, if you go into the halftime at 1-0, and then the game looks slightly different, right? You don't, and then you get kind of chasing. So, there was a bit of a momentum shift, and then and then we get derailed from the plan with the goal from range. So, credit to them, they stuck to it. It's a tough team to play against, and for many ways, or for many minutes, the game plan I thought was a good one.
Next, we'll go to Tom Timmerman.
Brad, in the second half, did you just look like they were quicker than you or outrunning you, or was it just thrown off by how by the goal?
Yeah, I think as we know Seattle's a team that can weigh you down. So, I don't say we got worn down, but I felt that we lost our way a little bit in our principles, Tom. So when that starts to get away from us, we know we don't rely on one player. We rely on the team to function, because we know that we have to be a lot more connected. We know we have to be a lot more compact. And, when players don't start, applying those principles or being true to them, and then spaces and gaps appear. They put Rui Diaz in, shift out Morris to the left, and then it become, even one more step stronger. Then you put Eber on, they're very flexible, very fluid, and they have a lot of depth off the bench. So, it's a great learning moment for us to see, when you go away from home, and if you don't, stick to your principles and play against teams like this, that's the result. And we can't just solve the problems by playing the beautiful game and trying to think that we can possess, a lot of the ball, of which I know we didn't. But, we have to work a lot harder than that.
Next, we'll go to Justin.
Coach, I want to talk a little about Mehdi Perez. It's not a great result, but you can still take some pride away for how he played, being such an important role in that formation. He is, one of the players to kind of break past into the final third. How do you feel he did today, given this big opportunity?
Sorry, I didn't hear the play you were speaking about.
Oh, Miggy Perez.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, I thought he was good. I mean, a couple of nervy touches early on in the first half. And yeah, we knew the demands of the game are going to grow. So yeah, we know that, or we felt that we have a lot of good weapons off the bench. And yeah, it's just unfortunate that Jabulo, not sure what happened with him. I haven't spoken to the medical guys yet. And then we have to make another sub. So again, it's another game plan or another part of the game plan that gets derailed. So, you know, a bunch of things went against us today, and we got to find ways to fight back and be a little bit more resilient and be a little bit more combative in these times of need or times of desperation. And yeah, credit to them. They yeah, listen. I mean, we can't take away, you know, what yeah, their staff and whatever saying, like a really good game, guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they've seen a really good team come here and push them. If the game was 60 minutes long, I think we win on points. You know what I mean? If it was a boxing fight, I think we win on points. Yeah, and then after that, yeah, I think the game goes in a different way. So I think two faces, and I leave with two different emotions here.
Next we go to Matt Baker.
Bradley, it seemed like in the first half especially, you had some really good attacking opportunities from Nico Gioacchini and Joao Klaus. At the end of the day, you had 2 shots on goal. So what do you think it was that kind of prevented you from getting more attacking targets on shot in the first or second half?
Yeah, because of the sort of stature of the way we went about the game plan to try and mitigate their strengths. Obviously, in transition, you know, maybe it's just staying on the ball a little bit longer. We had our strikers a little bit more distant from another. So when we turn over the ball, you know, we need a lot more supporting runs from then Johnny Nelson or Jake Nowinski. So, yeah, we needed a lot of maybe a little earlier crosses, runs in the box, you know. So, yeah, there were just a couple of things that I thought we did really, really well. The ball that Gioacchini gets across off to Klaus, and Klaus gets the shot off near post in the first half, hits the upright. So Gioacchini stays on the ball, wins his 1v1, creates a bit of separation, and then gives us time to get players in the box, right? So, you know, that was for the most part the game plan. And yeah, obviously you see 2 shots on target, and yeah, it's probably the only, you know, one of the outliers in the season so far where we don't get that many shots off or that many shots on target. So again, for something to go away from home, something's got to give, something's got to take, you know, so it's a bit of a give and take relationship. And like I said, for the most part, yeah, it was a decent performance, I would say, with and without the ball for the first 60 minutes, 65 minutes.
Let's go back to Tom Timmerman.
Yeah, Bradley, it's just a tougher loss to take than some of the others. It just seemed, or the others, there's one other, but the Minnesota game. Is this a tougher loss?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you know, listen, I don't leave here with full of joy and encouragement. I mean, for sure, I leave here thinking we've gone a very mature performance, you know, in many ways. So, you know, I leave here thinking we can be adaptable. We can be, you know, fluid and flexible with our approach, and we can, you know, stick to a game plan. But you can speak about formation, you can speak about relationships, you can speak about, you know, if your core principles and your DNA values get away from you just a little bit, then we know it takes a, you know, it takes a world-class goal maybe to derail you, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're back behind the 8 ball. So, yeah, I leave this game with mixed emotions, like I said earlier. It's just unfortunate. I think the scoreline was a bit flattering, but by no means, you know, did I think it, you know, that we deserve to win or anything like this, or that not realistic. So, yeah, we look at this hard. I mean, it hurts because the boys are pretty beat up, and, you know, we know to compete with the best team in North America, you know, CONCACAF Champions League winners, you're going to have to bring a lot to the table. And, yeah, we brought a lot to the table for many, many minutes of that game. So, yeah, that's it.
We'll go back to Matt Baker.
Bradley, it seemed like your team kind of, not so much your team, but Seattle really kind of took that first goal and they ran with it. Similar to how your team did in Salt Lake, where there was just a period of time where it just seemed like they were completely on the offensive and they were running their own game plan. So how do you manage when they seem to have kind of momentum pushing and everything just seems to be going their way, and What do you do with your players, and how do you manage the formations or the game plan when that kind of game flow is occurring?
Well, then you start to act, right? So you start to now act to go to the bench. You start to try and get guys in, and I think just before the goal, we had already called, guys to get ready. We already got jobs in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So we had already tried to act because we could see the potential dangers. And it's just unfortunate Jobs picks up the something on his groin muscle. I don't know if it's the groin or a hip flexor. I'm not sure. So he picks up an injury. So I think you could see we were proactive. It's one of the things that we've been is brave and proactive with our guys coming off the bench. And it just didn't feel like the same impact as previous games.
Guys, we got time for one more question. I'll go back to Tom.
Well, thank you. Talk about guys can make it look. Tim Parker looked like he was struggling at the end too. Just any thought, any idea what with him?
No, I think it's more his ankle. I think this turf is really hard. There's not much turf on the field left. But yeah, I think it's just guys took a beating. We trained on a brand new turf field yesterday and felt great. But then, obviously you come and play on different surfaces, and I think just the wear and tear of the game. But I think it's just more. I think it's more joint related. I don't think it's muscular. Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
All right. Thanks, Brad.
All right.
Coach, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Safe travels back.
Thank you. Good night.